What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle coming out of Clemson. He's he's about 6'3", about 315-ish pounds. So his size is absolutely fine. I see him as primarily a three tech. He probably can play one, but I don't necessarily want him to do that. There is some talk about him possibly being a 3-4 defensive end, which I think he can do that. I do think he can. I think there's some things he would need to improve to be really good at that. But right now, I prefer him as a 3 tech in a 4-3 scheme. Just kind of line him up in B gap and let him go. As far as him being a defensive end goes, he does show some bend, but it's kind of inconsistent. You don't necessarily need bend as a defensive end, but I do prefer it. Yeah, I definitely prefer you to have some bend to you, but it's not absolutely necessary. He is extremely athletic for his size. Yeah, for being 315 pounds, I think he ran just over a 5 in the 40, which is pretty incredible. I think it's like a 5.05, something like that. I don't remember. Combine's been a little while now. It was something to that effect. But like I said, he's pretty athletic. He has some good ball get off. He's pretty explosive. Can definitely run a little bit, which is great if running back gets outside or anything like that. Quarterback scrambles, anything like that. I see him as primarily a pass rushing defensive tackle. He's very good in the pass rushing game. He can definitely rush the quarterback, and he can, if he can't get past an offensive lineman, I've seen him push the offensive lineman into the quarterback to just try to cause some chaos. One thing I'd like to see him do a little bit more is plug the run a little bit better, either by shedding blocks and actually getting to the running back, or even just clogging up lanes and stopping them. Him not really plugging the run well is kind of why I don't want him as a 1 or a 0 tech. I kind of want him as a 3 tech or a 3-4 defensive end, preferably 3 tech. I think he's best in B gap. One thing I'd like to see him improve is his eyes, especially when he's unblocked. Sometimes he looks a little bit lost if an offensive lineman doesn't have their hands on him, like if they purposely let him go, like in a read option type of scheme. He kind of bites on fakes a little bit when he's not blocked. That's something I'd like to see him improve. I think his hands could be a little bit more consistent too. He sometimes has a habit of getting his hands outside, on the shoulder pads instead of putting his hands right into the offensive lineman's chest and moving him. It's something I'd just like to see him work on. He does have some pretty long arms, though, which is, again, why I'd like to see him improve his hands. Because with those long arms, he can keep an offensive lineman at bay and create room so he can get past them. Which is why, if he can get his hands into the offensive lineman's chest more consistently, I think he'd be a lot better for it. But overall, I like Christian Wilkins a lot, especially if you are evaluating him as a 3 tech in a 4-3 scheme. I think he gives you a lot of value there, and I think he can play all 3 downs. I think he's one of my favorite defensive tackles in this draft, which is full of really good defensive tackles. And I think most of his flaws are coachable. And also, as far as the eyes go, when he's unblocked, that won't really happen as much if he's a 3 tech. The main reason that that was a problem in the film is because, Clemson has a habit of putting Christian Wilkins out at defensive end, which I wouldn't necessarily do. And I'm not talking about 3-4 defensive end. I'm talking about edge. Like, they put him out there on the edge, which he can do that, but that's not where I want him. I want him in B gap. Let him be athletic. Let him destroy B gap. But because they did put him out at defensive end, I had to evaluate him that way. But as a 3-tech, he won't really have to deal with that too much. So I don't think that's too much of a problem. And his hands, getting more consistent hands, I think coaching and experience will help with that. But anyway, that's all I really got for this video. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comments down below. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.